Hey, Rick Sayes here. Welcome to another episode of the Outdoor Biz Podcast, where I hope to provide entertaining conversations with retailers, brand managers, athletes, executives, and others in the outdoor biz to get their stories, tips, strategies, productivity tricks, and ideas that you can apply and take your career or business to the next level. This episode's featured advocacy group is Friends of the Inyo. Friends of the Inyo is a conservation nonprofit based here in the Eastern Sierra. Their mission is to ensure that public lands of the Eastern Sierra remain wild and free for future generations. Friends of the Inyo engages in policy activism while supporting meaningful and sustainable land management. On the ground, Friends of the Inyo places hands on the land through professional crews and volunteer activities in both the front country and the wilderness. Join Friends of the Inyo on an event or support effective public lands policy and management by becoming a member at www.friendsoftheinyo.org. Hey guys, this episode is with Sevag Kazanci, co-founder and chief outfitter at the Parks Project. They've created collections of park goodies like t-shirts, drinkware, and journals that directly fund backlog projects in our national parks. Enjoy! Hey guys, today I'm speaking with Sevag Kazanci, co-founder and chief outfitter at the Parks Project. Welcome to the show, Sevag.
Hey, thanks for having me, Rick. Appreciate it.
Yeah, good to have you on. So it seems like your background from some research I was doing is more towards the action sports side of the outdoor biz. How did you get into the action sports? Were you a surfer or a skier or what?
Yeah, so I grew up in Southern California. Originally born in Turkey, but moved here when I was like 3. And
oh, wow.
Grew up in the Southern California area, surfing, skating, snowboarding, doing all that stuff.
Right on.
Yeah, so that's kind of where that background is. And my first job out of college was at O'Neill Clothing.
Okay.
Kind of the surf wetsuit brand.
Right.
Yeah, so that was my first job out of college. I got a job doing like sales support, customer service there.
Nice.
I didn't expect to be in apparel or outdoor clothing or anything like that. I kind of just took it as a random, job because I had graduated, didn't know what I was going to do.
Right.
And I ended up loving it. We were like having surf breaks at lunch and, hitting the mini ramp out front after work.
Was that up in Santa Cruz?
The wetsuits are up in Santa Cruz. The apparel is down here in Southern California.
Oh,
Orange
okay,
County.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Right, gotcha.
Yeah.
I was part of the crew that brought Mont Bell to the U.S. back in the late 80s, and the guy that was doing it was president of O'Neill at the time. He was going to leave once he got Mont Bell going, but that's where I got a little exposure to O'Neill. So that's very cool.
Nice. Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah. And have you been back to Turkey? Do you go back regularly or?
Yeah, I go back every 3 or 4 years and have an uncle there and some cousins. And
where in Turkey?
Turkish, so in Istanbul.
Oh, nice. I was there 2 years ago, man. Great city.
It is. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So it's getting a little stressful with the traffic and stuff there.
Yeah, man.
It's pretty amazing.
It's funny. I was in a taxi ride there, and this guy cut in front of a truck. And there were four taxis. We were going to see some site, and everybody behind me in the taxis thought I was dead. The guy just cut off some truck and brakes and hollering, and it was crazy.
It's intense.
But the traffic is nuts. Sure. Yeah, but it was a beautiful city, great food, a lot of great stuff to see. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I loved it.
Yeah.
I moved. I was really young when I moved to the States and grew up. I worked at O'Neill, and then I worked at Volcom, which another surf skate brand.
Yeah.
And then from there, got to Tom's, which is kind of was like the antithesis of us getting Parks Project started, basically.
Yeah. So how did you end up getting at Tom's? How'd that come about?
So I was doing action sports work and doing sales, more on the sales side, sales support, majors accounts, like, customer service, that kind of stuff, sales operations.
Right.
And at Volcom, I got to work with some majors, and that was really fun. And, the action sports industry was great for me, but I kind of wanted to just do something a little more fulfilling. I always thought I'd be doing nonprofit work.
Oh, really? Interesting.
And honestly, when I was at Volcom, I was kind of like debating on going back and trying to do some nonprofit work, like get my master's and go work at a nonprofit. That was the idea. And I saw a job posting for Tom's, and I didn't even know what it was about, but I remember asking my sister, and she was like, "Oh my God, Tom's is like exactly what you're looking for."
That's a great story, huh? Man, that guy, amazing what that guy did.
Yeah. And so my sister told me all about it, was like so excited. And I was like, man, maybe there's a way to kind of put what I've learned already with action sports into, a little bit of a nonprofit space. And So that was really cool. I took that job there and headed up all the essentially product development for apparel and accessories.
Okay.
So it was a little bit of a stretch for me to jump into, but like I had experience in product development while I was at Volcom.
Right. Super good. Yeah. Super good experience. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they brought me in, and I was, production apparel manager essentially, and accessories. So
wow, right.
Did some design development, sourcing, and then, kind of built that program there and saw that company go from, small 50-piece brand in Santa Monica to like 500-600 people,
Right. Did you get to travel to Asia to do some of that product development stuff?
Yeah. So I got to go to China a few times, and then we got to go on giving trips as well, where we went,
cool.
Put shoes on kids' feet, which was amazing. And got to go to like South America a couple times for that, which was really
nice. Well, we'll put a link to the show in the show notes about Tom's. That's a great project. And
cool.
I heard that guy interviewed, I think it was by Tim Ferriss, a couple times. Great on Tim Ferriss' podcast. This is awesome. That guy's very cool. So is that where the inspiration for Parks Project came from? Yeah,
essentially. So me and Keith Eshelman, who's the other co-founder, him and I were working there. We both kind of had an action sports background. He worked at Quicksilver before Tom's. So we kind of both had that Southern California, like he's from Northern Cali, but we had that like surf skate vibe together and hung out a lot there. Right. And while we were at Tom's, we kind of got inspired by them to start doing some volunteer work. We linked up with the Santa Monica Trail Council. Okay. And they're just a local volunteer organization that does stewardship projects in the Santa Monica mountains. Right. And as we started going out there and doing work with them, we were getting really excited because it was fun work. You get to swing a pickaxe, and it's actually pretty cool. There's times where they gave us chainsaws, and we were like, "Is this okay?
Are we allowed to have these out here?"
Yeah, totally. And it was really cool, and we just had a blast out there. But also at the same time, we saw that the demographic of people that were out there were a bit older, and a lot of them were retired, and we were just kind of like, wow, this is amazing. We're inspired by these people, but there's like another generation of people that, outdoor industry is bigger than ever. Right. Instagram is bigger than ever, in connection to the outdoor industry. So it's just like, there's this love for this outdoor space, but how come there's not this like, youthful engagement from a conservation standpoint?
Right. Why aren't they giving back a little? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so we knew there was something there while we were doing that, and then at the same time, we were always kind of frustrated about how poorly made like park gear was. Like, you'd go to like a gift shop or something and you'd buy this, I Heart Parks mug. And it was just like this stuff that we were like, man, who buys this? And we know there's a customer out there for that.
Right. Yeah. Right.
We were also just like, maybe there's a customer who wants something a little cooler and, better made, something they could actually wear out more than once.
Yeah, something they can use, more than once and throw it away. Exactly, right.
Yeah, exactly. And we were like, there's, these parks are so iconic, and they're these American, like, legendary spaces. Like, how can we tell that story through our product? So we kind of put the two and two together. We started, reached out to the Park Foundation and asked them if we could, essentially get the license. They were like, no, licenses we give out are to like McDonald's and Nature Valley, and
really?
There's some pretty big people, and we were just like two guys out of Venice. So they were They were like, it's cute what you're doing, but this isn't,
really interesting.
Not. Yeah. So we did it for about a year and a half, 2 years without, the official like license from the Park Service. Mm-hmm. And
did they hassle you about that, or they just let you go? They didn't care, or did they?
That's kind of like a fun fact that we try not to share too much.
Maybe they didn't even know. Yeah.
No, they did, because we were cutting them checks, every quarter.
Right.
And so they were kind of like, hey, like, we know you guys are doing something sweet and you're genuinely doing something good here, but like, we deal with mega corporations as far as licensing goes. Yeah. And so we did it for about a year and a half, and they just kept saying like, thank you.
Taking the money, but not sharing the love.
Yeah. And then finally, after a while, they finally were like, okay, we get it. You guys are doing something different here. Yeah. You're speaking to a different audience. You're making product in a better way. And so we got the official license from them, and then, awesome. The partnership from the foundation a couple, like 2.5 years ago, maybe. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of like the quick version of how how the brand launched. And
Right.
we just decided, we wanted to tell the stories of the conservancies that are doing this incredible work in the park through our gear, and, engage kind of the next generation to get connected with conservation work.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, and so you make a variety of gear, and you donate the profits to the park. What's the model there?
So essentially, what we do is a little different from your typical brand or company that has a give back component.
Right.
Usually there's like a percentage of give back kind of thing to some organization that kind of floats in the thin air. And what we wanted to do is make sure that we're connecting the purchase to the actual projects that are being done.
Okay.
So one of the things we do is we work directly with each conservancy in each park.
Okay.
And we directly fund projects they're working on through the sales of our products.
Gotcha.
So the cool thing is, we're not giving like some dollar amount to the foundation, and then that kind of trickles down to the different conservancies, depending.
When you do that, they decide how it gets used, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got you.
And in our scenario, we wanted to give conservancies the power.
Right.
And so what we do is we work directly with like Joshua Tree Conservancy and,
gotcha.
Zion National Park Forever Project, which is essentially their conservancy. And we work directly with them. And what we say is, tell us about projects you're funding.
Yeah.
Let's help tell the story about the work that's being done in the parks. And let's, and in turn, let's help fund those projects through our gear.
Awesome.
So that's kind of the direct correlation between purchase and give back with us. That's a little different.
And that way you can also then tell the consumer where their money's going directly. So if they love Zion, they can choose to buy Zion gear. If they love Joshua Tree, they can choose to buy Joshua Tree gear. And they know exactly where their money's going, which project. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
So if they, and that's the cool thing about it. And the cool thing, at first was that we didn't really understand like how the impact was going to happen, how we can tell that story back.
Right.
And what's been really cool is as our brand's grown, we've really been able to kind of quantify every quarter what we're doing. We can say like our brand in the quarter one of this year helped plant, 2,537 Joshua trees in the nursery in Joshua Tree Conservancy.
Right on. Yeah.
It's cool, quantifiable information that our retailers love as well, because they just get excited. They're like, hey, our store is helping do this.
Right. Right.
So that's kind of the fun way we do it. We work directly with each conservancy and help fund projects they're working on.
And how many parks do you have projects in?
We're currently about 32.
Wow, awesome.
And that includes national, state, and local parks.
Oh,
national parks definitely get the most, the most notoriety.
Just the most attention. Sure, right.
Yeah, they're pretty legendary. But for, we work with Big Sur. We do Santa Monica Mountains Project.
Right.
We have a Muir Woods National Monument Project. So we do everything from national park lands down to state park lands. But at the end of the day, for us, it's about, finding the right retailer to work with.
Right. And
then so we can ideally sell the product so we can help fund the project.
So you target the retailer first and then the park? Or
well, at first when we first launched, it was like, here's the top 10 parks that we think people will buy.
Right. The 10 most popular parks or whatever. Right?
Yeah, because we had no idea where to start.
Right,
and then obviously we added a couple of our local ones like Santa Monica that were close to our heart, and Lake Tahoe and stuff like that. So that's kind of how it started. But now what's happened is, and it's a really awesome like organic growth. We've had retailers come to us now,
nice.
And we go to outdoor retailer and they're like, hey, we have this park in our backyard, and we think our customer will really help support it.
Right,
and we think they'd come out and do volunteer work with us. Like, we want to do something awesome, which is, at the end of the day, that's the purpose, right? We wanted to engage these people in a really creative and fun way.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening. We have people come to us and they're like, hey, we're in North Carolina, and we'd love to do something for the Great Smokies, which is our local park, or, or we're near this river and we'd love to do something for this specific river. So that's kind of the way it's come about, which is really awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah.
We still, we will still introduce projects regardless of whether we think it'll sell. If there's a great story and a great project to be funded, we'll put it on our site, but from a wholesale standpoint, you're kind of stuck to whatever a wholesaler is going to buy. Right. So at the end of the day, it's slightly more limited, but on our website, we're able to try a lot of different things.
So you sell direct to consumer on your website and then also through retailers. Gotcha.
Correct. Yeah. And we just launched with REI. small batches of REIs this last month.
Oh, very good. That's great.
Which is really cool. Yeah, we're in some Southern California stores.
That's great.
They love, the employees there love telling the story of how the give back works. And we're doing plaques at our retailers now. So,
awesome.
Every retailer can kind of see, how their give back is working, and they can explain that story to their customer too.
Right. That's terrific. So
yeah.
So you guys have seen some pretty big growth in the last 2.5 years, right? I mean, have you doubled the business? What kind of growth?
Since last year, we've doubled, the first year was pretty much just a wash. It was just us trying to get the business off the ground,
Right.
My mom hang tagging shirts and us just trying to get this thing going.
All hands on deck.
Totally. The second year, I mean, literally, like first shipments were my mom hang tagging our shirts.
Nice.
The second year, we were able
shout
to
shout out to Sevag's mom. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, seriously, she's worked very hard.
Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah.
But we first year we were kind of in that mom and pop in our house stage. Second year, we were able to get a couple staff on board. This year, we've seen essentially like a double of our sales from last year.
Great.
That's having some staff and some people on board, which has really, really helped us do that.
Right.
Getting REI obviously helps with that as well. And one of the other things we kind of do, which is really fun, we don't talk about as much, and I kind of wish we did, but as we were working with these conservancies, we started finding that a lot of them have, their own direct-to-consumer platforms and sites.
Right.
And a lot of times they're kind of outdated from the way the website looks and the way the product looks. And so what we started doing is saying, hey, you guys have this incredible following, you have this incredible branding, can we help you and kind of take that to the next level? So one of the things we do is the Find Your Park campaign, for instance. We manage the e-commerce platform for Find Your Park. So if you go to findyourpark.com and you click on the shop page, that's actually our shop page.
Oh, cool.
It looks like a Park Foundation shop page because we house it for them.
You skin it for them, right.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, what we do is give them the same quality of design and product that we do for our stuff, but for their own their own line.
You don't do fulfillment for them, though. You just
we do it all.
Wow.
Everything.
Wow.
So we do everything from design to production to fulfillment. So
do you have a big warehouse in Southern California?
Yeah, we work with a 3PL here in Southern California. But so that's been really cool. We're doing that for the Conservation Corps, which is awesome and just an incredible historical group that we want to support in any way we can.
That's great.
And then we're also doing that for the findyourpark.com and National Park Foundation, essentially.
Have you approached any retailers with that model?
No, we haven't yet, and mainly because most of the retailers are already kind of up to speed.
Most of them, there's still
most of them, I don't want to speak for all of them,
right? Exactly. I'm not gonna name any names, but
but our idea was like we want to elevate these people who have years and years of history and this heritage, is like the perfect word. And Conservation Corps is amazing. I mean, the work they do is incredible, and for us to be able to support them through what we know is just awesome.
That's very cool.
Cutting them checks is the best feeling in the world. It's like they're doing this work and we're doing the work for them, on the customer side. And
that's great. So what's your most popular project or most popular park?
I think our most popular project is probably between, the most popular I would say is definitely Joshua Tree.
Okay.
Mainly because, Joshua Tree is one of those places where it's kind of just, it's really close to Los Angeles.
Yeah. Close to a large population base, right? Yeah.
Huge. Yeah, exactly. And the visitor, the numbers of visitation there are staggering.
Right.
So I think from like a branding perspective and a conversation perspective, Joshua Tree definitely takes the cake just because it's, it has all that stuff. U2 mentions it on their album covers. I mean, it's like
exactly right.
It's part of like pop culture,
Right.
So that's probably our best one, and that's the one where we're the closest with the Conservancy.
Okay.
We're able to help fund their nursery that they run there, which helps essentially grow the Joshua trees because they're not growing at the rate they expected in the park.
Right.
So they're essentially nursing them out of the park or at a little nursery,
Uh-huh.
and then bringing them in the park to kind of keep them going. And,
Okay.
so it's a really cool project they're working on. That's probably our most popular. And then Yosemite is probably,
I was going to say
Joshua Tree,
Yosemite had to be
Yosemite.
up there. Yeah.
Totally. Those are top two.
Yeah.
From a story perspective, though, personally, I really love like Muir Woods, where in Muir Woods where the redwoods aren't, propagating the way they're expected to. And essentially the shrubbery and all the non-native plants that are on the ground are stopping the seeds from hitting the ground.
Right.
So, we're helping fund the nursery there. That's kind of regrowing
That's great,
redwoods.
man.
And then, there's a couple other fun ones where we're bringing like youth groups out, where we're kind of getting kids from like interdistrict LA out to Santa Monica Mountains for the very first time. And stuff like that to kind of get the next generation.
Yeah, that's
excited.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. What's your best-selling product?
So it's probably hand in hand with those projects. I would say Yosemite and Joshua Tree are definitely top two.
Mm-hmm. And is it T-shirts or mugs or?
As far as product category, apparel is definitely our top selling category. It's kind of what we're known for.
Right.
Headwear is taking a close second. Our women's apparel is, when we first launched, we just did men's T-shirts, and we got a lot of responses. They're like, we need women's product. And as we've brought more women's product in, as far as like sleeveless tank tops and racerback tees and stuff, we've seen those take over our men's sales, which is awesome, which is really cool to see. So I think headwear, we just did a candle collection.
Oh, interesting.
They're like a collection of national park candles that are all tied into scents of that region.
Right.
So they're tied into like the native plants of that region.
Very cool. I like it.
Yeah. And we're just trying to do some more products that kind of highlight various parks at once. So like a California map of all the national parks in California versus like just one Yosemite shirt kind of thing.
Right. Very cool. I like it. Yeah.
But T-shirts is definitely probably our top selling category.
That makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how about any new initiatives you guys are working on? Anything you'd like to share coming up?
So we have a couple fun things we're working on. One is our Park Champions video. The Park Champions is essentially, as we started visiting some of these gift shops, and we do sell something I didn't mention earlier. We sell some of our products in the actual parks as well. So if you go to like Joshua Tree Visitor Center, you'll see our T-shirts there. Yeah. So as we started working directly with the gift shops and the conservancies, we started finding these people at every park that are just like diehard park lovers that have been working for the park their whole lives, or this have these incredible stories. Right. Like there's a lady in Yellowstone who stays there through the winter to make sure nobody breaks into like the visitor centers.
Wow, awesome.
There's just people that have these like incredible, passionate stories about parks, and we call them park champs. Yeah. And so what we wanted to do is highlight these people. So we've already launched one. It's about a ranger named Jessica in Yosemite who is from actually like interdistrict LA, got inspired by Yosemite, decided to become a park ranger, and now she has a youth program where she brings kids out there. So there's these really cool stories. Yeah. So it's called Park Champs. We launched the first video already. It's on our our site, our About Us section. You can see the blog for it.
Cool. We'll put links to that on the show notes too, for sure. Yeah.
Cool. So we're doing another one in the Rocky Mountains with the Conservation Corps there. We have one planned with Glacier in Grand Teton. Nice. The Grand Teton one will be about the No Plastic in the Park initiative they're doing, which is really cool. So we're essentially telling, the stories of these park stewards or park champs, if you will, through this campaign. And none of our product is in the campaign. This isn't a product-driven campaign.
It's all about them. That's awesome.
It's about them and the great work they do. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So that's probably one of our biggest initiatives. And then going into next year, our second probably biggest initiative is our collaborations with the conservancies. So one of the things a lot of brands do is collaborate with other brands, which is fun and awesome. And you get these really unique, cool, fun products. Right. But we, just to the core of who we are, we felt like we should be partnering and doing collaborations with conservancies. Right. So that's what we do. We did one with Sierra Club. Oh, cool. It's available on our site. It's a T-shirt that's kind of a Sierra Club Parks Project kind of mashup. Nice. We did one with the Grassroots Alliance, Access Fund. We're working on one with them.
I'll have to connect you with the California Wilderness Coalition. I'm on the board there, so maybe we can do something together.
That would be awesome. Yeah. Our whole goal is like take these people, take these amazing communities they've built, and
Right.
make them some awesome gear and tell
Right.
their story,
Yeah, that's
to
awesome.
another audience. So
Yeah.
that's a big initiative for us going into next year. You'll see, I'd say 2 to 3 collaborations launch every season for us
Very cool.
with one of these conservancies. Yeah.
And you have 2 seasons a year, 2 launches a year kind of thing, or is it quarterly?
We do quarterly.
Okay,
We design typically. We used to design every season. Now I think the norm in the industry is turning into more like a 2 seasonal approach with like multi deliveries.
Right.
So that's what we're starting to do now. We're, like mainly spring and fall delivery. And then we have, staggered deliveries for summer and holiday.
Yeah, it fits the model that they're used to. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. So do you have any thoughts on how the outdoor business as an entity or brands or retailers can have more impact on the public lands issue? I mean, we're since the new administration has been in the seat, it's been pretty hectic for public lands.
I got to say, first and foremost, I'm really, really proud to be a part of the outdoor industry right now.
Right on. Yeah.
Going to Outdoor Retailer and seeing, just like the excitement to do the march they had, and how everyone was talking about defending parklands. Like, I think there is a huge amount of people with a lot of money in an industry that's really, really backing, supporting our public lands. And it was really, really cool to see when I was at Outdoor Retailer.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody on the podcast the other day, and it's almost like, this administration has awoken a sleeping giant. And it's like,
totally.
Be careful, man, because we have some pretty powerful long reaches from this group.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think for us, obviously there's 2 elements. That one is the government side, obviously, getting people involved and getting them, mobilized to speak up is obviously the one you hear the most. And, writing your congressman and all that kind of stuff.
Write your congressman, call your congressman, go visit your congressman.
Yeah, it kind of bums me out when you hear it so much. It starts to lose its worth. But I really want to make sure people are still seeing that as a viable option.
Well, it'd be interesting. Issue. I think if people start to tell the stories of the letters that they wrote, what they got back, and the visits. I remember, not to steal the thunder from the podcast, but I was sitting at the Outdoor Retailer show a couple years ago, and there was some Conservation Alliance event or something going on at one of the restaurants, and one of the board members was going to get up and speak. I think it was Steve Barker, and he took the mic and says, I'm going to hand this over to this guy because he has more to say about things you need to hear than I do. And it was a congressman, or it was a politician from Seattle, I think. And he just told this great story about, I need you people to round up your friends and come down and visit me and tell me what you want me to do, so I can hear it right from you, meet face to face. And then when I do it, come back and tell me, congratulate me and tell me thank you. And when I don't do it, come back and tell me how upset you are and give me a ration of grief and why it didn't work. He said,
totally.
And that's exactly what these guys, they need to physically hear and see us. And they are more and more, definitely.
No, and what we're seeing is, to the response that we're expecting or we want from people is, that initial response of writing their congressman, calling their congressman, all that.
Yeah.
And we also, for us, what we see is we're kind of inundated in the nonprofit space, and we're seeing a lot of different groups trying to essentially accomplish the same thing.
Exactly. Right.
And the thing that I, try to urge people to do is try to support the local conservancies first and foremost. There's typically one, major conservancy for every park.
Yeah.
And that's the person you want to be purchasing your goods from, the person you want to be supporting. A lot of people don't know that sometimes you can go into a national park and actually go into a gift shop that's, tied to a hotel or tied to some form of, and where a lot of those profits don't go back to the money.
Yeah, the money goes right to the conglomerate that owns the hotel or whatever.
Yeah. So my biggest thing would be urging people to visit the visitor centers and the gift shops, and that's where the conservancies are doing the work. And that's definitely a big part to place to put your money.
Yeah, that's good advice. That's good advice. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think, the third thing is just for us is kind of finding your own way to do it, whether it's through volunteer work. We have a lot of links on our site to kind of guide people to doing volunteer work.
Very cool.
And then if you sign up for our email subscription, we essentially, send out a blast whenever we do one in your area.
Nice. Awesome.
So it's a really good way to kind of get involved. I think volunteer days are awesome. And a lot of people think that it's mainly because of the labor that's being done. That's a big part of it. But a lot of it, what happens is you get really educated when you go there and you meet the person who's working in that space, and you understand how our actions are affecting native plants, and how, how the way we hike affects, all the little things that go into play.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really fun. Yeah. It's really cool.
That's cool. So let's shift gears a little bit. What other outdoor activities do you participate in? Obviously, you hike a lot, I'll bet.
I hike a good amount. I'm not like the peak climber. No, we're not. I've done Mount Whitney a couple times. So
good for you. Yeah, cool.
I'm definitely not afraid. And you're in Bishop, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're right there. I mean, I've done it a couple times, and
nice.
I'm not afraid to get adventurous, but I'm more of kind of like we have a little Econoline that we have a bed in, and that's
sweet, very cool. Yeah, right on.
Yeah, so we I mean, for me, hiking's a big one. I go skateboarding, a couple times a week.
Yeah, nice.
We have this joke in the office. We call it board meetings, where we go. Yeah. It's like, hey, let's go have a board meeting, and we just like hop on our skateboard and go, roll around the street a little bit, which is really nice.
I used to be a river guide, and we used to call them water conferences. Okay, we need a water conference.
Totally. So that's a big one for us. And then, the cool thing, I'm lucky enough to visit some of these parks that we sell to.
That's great.
So for me, that was like my biggest dream, is to have a business that, can be tied into something I love, which is the outdoor world. And so we're lucky enough, me and my wife, whenever we do go visit a gift shop, we'll, try to at least just ask the Park Service guy, or, ask the Conservancy, like, what is the thing we need to go hike, or what do we need to go see, or what should we go see that maybe a lot of people aren't going to be at? Because I know sometimes they get
those guys are crowded. Amazing. I was in Great Basin National Park a few weeks ago on my way out to the outdoor show. And I went into the visit center and was talking to the guy. I said, hey, I'm camping out. I'm going to take some, night photography tonight. Any place I should go? And this guy turned me on to this sweet campsite, great view of the sky and nobody around. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, for us, whenever we get to these spaces, we like to make sure we're getting out. I like to take night photography as well. So for me, like getting, driving around Zion in the middle of the night and getting some cool shots is really fun.
Yeah.
Love that. So very that's cool. Probably the extent of it.
All right. And
too crazy.
Do you read a lot?
I do. I read a little bit. I mean, I, in all honesty, I probably don't read books as much as I should. I read articles more than anything. I look at SGB pretty much daily.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm reading all those articles. And then we're part of the Outdoor Industry Association, so they do these sustainability articles. I mean, they're almost like weekly at this point. They're these essentially like, big bulk information for all brands to kind of look at and figure out how they can be the most sustainable. So my world is so inundated. I'm the, I'm essentially our operations and production and, some sales guy. So I'm so inundated in that like product development world right now that that's where, a lot of my time and effort is going into, whether it's like looking into different ways we can be sustainable, or,
and keeping up on all that stuff. I mean, there's some great information put out by the OIA and the SGB, and that's exactly what you probably should focus on at the moment. Yeah.
Which is really fun. I mean, I've
any favorite books that you want to recommend to people that they get?
I don't know if it's cliche, but one of my favorite books is the Let My People Go Surfing, the Yvon Chouinard book.
Yeah.
I love that book. It's super inspiring.
That's a good
one.
And
then there's a book called The $100 Startup.
I've read that. That's by what's that guy's name?
Chris. I don't know how to say his last name.
Gilboa or something.
Yeah. I love that book.
Yeah, it's a great book. Yeah.
My attention span for really long stories is not great. So
you can read that book in an afternoon.
Yeah, and it's just a lot of like little stories about people who started something.
Yep.
With essentially nothing.
Right. Yeah, $100. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It's really fun to read about.
Awesome. Well, we'll put links to those in the show notes. That's awesome. Cool.
So
what's your best outdoor gear purchase under $100?
Under $100?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I guess, again, I'm not super technical, so I would say like if I was going to say best outdoor gear under $100, I would probably say a Topo Design backpack.
Okay,
just
cool.
because I have one and I've been using it for like 5 years.
Wow.
And it's still like in perfect shape.
Okay, cool.
The Cordura they use is like the most heavy duty Cordura I've ever seen. And it's amazing. So I would probably go with one of their backpacks. That's $100 probably get you one of their lower price point ones.
Yeah, that's
I'm assuming.
Yeah. We'll find one on there and put a link to the show notes. Topo Design, that's cool.
Yeah.
And
or Mokuyobi. I love Mokuyobi as well.
Oh, what is? I don't know that.
It's called it's Mokuyobi, and they are an LA-based brand that makes like Japanese influenced prints on outdoor gear.
Oh, interesting.
It's really cool. They make some amazing stuff, and everything they make is made in here in LA.
Oh, cool! I'll check that out.
It's really fun.
We'll link to that too.
I thought you were going to ask me the $20 one. Is that coming up as well?
Nope, just $100.
My $20 one was the Goal Zero.
Oh, right.
It's that Goal Zero little USB lantern thing they have.
Under $20?
Have you ever seen it? Yeah, it's $19.95.
Wow.
And they have one it's so awesome. Somebody gave it to me at an event, and I was like, "What is this thing?" And I take it everywhere with me because it's so awesome. It just has a little USB plug-in built into it.
Oh, check it out.
So you can just plug it into your wall. There's no cords. The light is super bright.
Huh.
And it has this like lantern setting that's like, I mean, it's almost as bright as like a Coleman lantern. It's this tiny little thing, you know, and it's rechargeable too. So
I'll look for that.
We took it out to, we were out in Seattle a few weeks ago. And we took it out to a Gifford Pinchoke National Forest, I believe it's called.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have a lantern. We used it for 2 nights, and like still half the battery was remaining.
Wow,
I couldn't believe it.
That's very cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah, we'll link to that one too. And do you have any tools you use to stay motivated or productive or sane? Any apps or podcasts or meditation?
I think, for me, I have a dog, and she's a big part of my life.
It's amazing how many people say that their dog. They walk their dog, or
Yeah, my dog is kind of my sanity,
Right.
She's like the time where I get to like not speak and just like go be for a bit, I take her on skates and I take her on runs all the time, which is awesome. So I think that's definitely up there for me. We use a couple really cool. We use an app called the Sauna, which it's a dashboard app, and it's really helpful for like tasking and stuff like that, which is really nice.
Okay.
So as far as like tools I use, that's definitely super helpful. I live in Dropbox. I don't know, it's kind of cliche, but my entire life lives in Dropbox. So
I do too.
It's pretty, that has become this huge tool in my life for sure.
Yeah. All right, cool. We'll link to both of those. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're in the process of getting like a work van that'll kind of give us a little bit more flexibility to start doing some pop-ups in the gift shops and stuff in national parks. So that'll be hopefully be the next tool for next year, where we can go tour.
That'll be very fun.
Set up some pop-ups. Yeah.
Cool. Anything else you want to say to or ask of our audience, our listeners, before we wrap up?
No, I mean, we just appreciate it. It's been an awesome year for us. We've learned so much, and we've had such a great response from our customers, and we're so grateful for it. And like we see people emailing us, seeing how they could be a part of it, whether it's a volunteering side or whether it's photography side. I mean, I feel like people are really seeing the value in supporting a brand like this. So it's been great for us, and we're really grateful for it. And we just appreciate the opportunity, and we hope that like we can start getting some conservancies in the limelight a little bit and getting them. Yeah, well, I think you guys the notoriety they deserve.
Yeah, you guys have struck a chord, so I think that's awesome. Yeah. Cool. And where can people find you? Email, LinkedIn, on your website?
Yeah, so LinkedIn's fine. Or if we have an info@parksproject.us email that goes essentially to me and the co-founder, we see all those emails. So if anything comes in through our main email channel, it's us.
Okay. You can reach me at parksproject.us.
Okay. Info@parksproject.us.
Okay.
We have a small team. Like I said, we're in a small space. So if you email over, it's pretty much someone's going to lean over and be like, "Hey, Sevag, you got an email."
All right, cool.
So it's pretty laid back.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're in Los Angeles area, if there's volunteer work, if any of the listeners want to join in on a volunteer day, go ahead and sign up for our email subscription, or just shoot us a note on Instagram or email or anything. Just be like, hey, I'd love to be a part of it. Here's my location, and we'll make sure to put you in. We're working on a little bit more of a like cohesive platform that people can kind of view work they can do a little easier.
Like a job finder, kind of a project finder kind of thing. Cool.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
nice. Well, we'll put links to all your all that stuff in the show notes, and people can reach out to you. That's awesome.
Cool.
Well, thanks, Sevag. It's been great chatting. Great work, you guys. Keep it up, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thanks for taking the time. Thanks for listening, and we really appreciate it.
Glad to do it. Good to chat. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, cool.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Sevag Kazanci. You can find him at info@parksproject.us, and be sure to check out their website at parksproject.us. You'll find links to all the info we discussed in the show notes at theoutdoorbizpodcast.com/episodes/038. I'd be stoked if you shared your favorite episodes on the socials, and until next time, thank you so much for listening. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. I've used Audible for many years now. I'm on the road a lot, and Audible allows me to enjoy the great books I discover or are recommended by friends. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/theoutdoorbizpodcast. There are over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Start your 30-day free trial with Audible today. If you want more of the Outdoor Biz Podcast, you can subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher, or go to theoutdoorbizpodcast.com, where you find all the episodes, show notes, and much, much more. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at The Outdoor Biz Podcast, Twitter at Rick_Saez, that's S-A-E-Z, and my email is rick@theoutdoorbizpodcast.com. Thanks for listening and all the support, and a huge shout out to all my guests, and until next time, be sure to make time to get outside.